Hi, everyone. Today I have with me Michael Kelleher. Michael is one of the contributing authors for the Mortgage Manager Mastery book, a book for sales leader new and experienced in the financial services sector. Michael has written a terrific chapter on Beyond Transactions, the community-driven mortgage banker. Michael is a fintech founder of Easy Mortgage Apps. You probably have heard of that. It's a really great app, and Adopt the Brand. Michael, thanks for joining me today. I loved your chapter, and I'm so excited to have you today so you can share for the audience and our listeners. What's the big idea that you would like them to take away from your chapter in the book?
Sure. My chapter talks a lot about winning local using new
Mhm.
strategies, right? And so my big takeaway is you as a brand need to invest and win that zip code. And you can't rely on just doing it with one loan officer being the face in case they go somewhere. This has to be a legacy play of turning it into, we used to say, don't be transactional, be relationship.
Right.
My big play is don't be transactional, make it community.
Well, that's a big concept, which we need another book on. So we'll have to write it together because I think that I agree with you 100%. I will have to say it's still somewhat of a radical thought within our industry. So, talk about the action step that managers could start doing to put into play this issue of making it a community.
You need to have the fundamentals of what you're going to build this community image around.
Hmm.
And I went a step further than what your typical lenders do today. You have to step outside the box. This is what I talk to different lenders about. One is you have to understand what the branding is going to be. And I don't think there's an easy way to do this for lenders outside of podcasts. So I like to help lenders, or an action step would be we would work together to really have a podcast plan for the loan officer that you're going to feature in that zip code. And then you're going to build off of that because you're going to create podcasts for the different referral partners and other business entities in that zip code. To survive in any industry lately, you need celebrity. And I think the problem with a lot of these larger brands,
Oh.
and we talk about disruptors and we talk about Zillow and we talk about, Sage has Red Ventures, which owns Bankrate. Like these are real disruptors. But Mr. Beast just filed to become a bank. That is a celebrity that people will trust just based on celebrity. My point is, if you read my chapter in this book, the best chance you have, even if you're a huge mortgage brand, is for to find who your local loan officer is that can find that local celebrity and just win at the local level. And so you have to do that through fundamentals. So the actionable steps are podcasts. And two is really understanding outbound cold marketing through AI. There's a lot of talk right now in our industry about AI, about phones, about calling,
Mhm.
and it's all consumer driven. And to me, that is a TCPA, Telephone Consumer Protection Act nightmare. I don't know why we're getting greedy going into that space. Keep it simple, keep it B2B, and you'll stay out of trouble. And so just identify the referral partners like you do today, understand how AI works, and empower them with AI to reach out. And all you ask in return is your branding. And so when you have so many people on the same team, in the same community, built around the same platform and the same podcasts, you begin to amplify your celebrity in a way that these national companies won't be able to crack.
Well, I agree with that 100%. I don't call them celebrities, I call them influencers. And this leads to the issue, which we'll have to have a podcast on this. That is having loan officers that are willing to be on video, are willing to be out front. And I think that lends itself to why we need to have younger people in our industry. But that's another topic unto itself. But I agree with you 100% with that, that's the opportunity that the lenders really have and really have to take advantage because they can win at that level, not necessarily at the national level, but at the local level. Great point. So when you look at the challenge going out a few years, you started to talk about that, but talk more. What do you think that from a manager standpoint, that is an opportunity for them in the next few years?
It's in AI and the ability, and
Mm.
I talk about it in my chapter. You, when you're a typical loan officer, you're trying to outsmart people. So I have top 10 lenders coming to me today, and this is exciting because they're reading my post and they're saying when rates drop, their retention is better than anybody, 96, 98, 99%, but they lose market share. I used to be an originator. What's in the news today? The LLPAs and Bill
Mhm.
Pulte. But that's what we do as originators. When rates drop, we look and we see, does somebody qualify out, or is somebody no longer part of this LLPA? Did somebody's MI fall off? Did
Mhm.
somebody have enough rate to, and we work on our own people that we feel comfortable with, our aunt, our uncle, our four-time user down the street.
Mhm.
And next thing you know, 4 weeks later, the rates go back up, right? And we didn't reach out to anybody except the people we were comfortable with. And that's why these big lenders are proud of their retention rate, but they are losing market share to these dialers like the Rockets that just call and have systems. So, with that said, there is AI out there today that can mimic what your most creative loan officer can do today. If you can do it on this, so when I used to originate, and this is over a decade ago, maybe a decade and a half, you'd come up with creative ways to find maybe on Craigslist, or you'd find in the registry of deeds some niche way to identify an arm that should be affixed. Guess what? There's ways to scrape the data now and search Google just as if you're a person and do it at scale. And so if you can understand the fundamentals of that, and so that would be my first piece. You as a branch manager, we can go through it. If you understand the fundamentals of being able to replicate what your loan officers are doing, automate it, and then enrich the data today that sits in your LOS is completely useless compared to what it could be. You have dependents at ages 11 that you closed a year ago. You should have that should be saying 12, and next year it should be saying 13. You should, if they switch jobs, you should know from LinkedIn, it should have the new job in there. You shouldn't have to pull a new, and you don't
Mhm.
need some new fancy LOS, CRM. There is simple software that's $299 your whole branch can use today. And so what I'm getting at is bigger picture. If you can set it up, the accountant has the same problem. The person who
Right.
works on front porches, the person who
Mhm.
does pools has the same problem. They even have another problem. They have to get somebody to pay for it. And so, with all the new HELOCs out, the fast approval HELOCs, the ability to get approvals in 15 minutes, you have what they want, the ability to help their customers pay. And if you understand this infrastructure, which I'm getting at, you can actually help people in your community do the same outreach problems you have today. And so I guess that's what I'm saying. That is the foundation. If
Mhm.
I was a branch manager, I have to show my loan officers how to do it. And if I get good enough at that, I can walk into any referral partner and be better at how they're doing it because they're
Mhm.
having the same national down to local problems. And if they trust you with their database, with their brand name, the zip code is yours to take.
I agree with you 100%. I'll have to have you on my podcast because we'll have to talk more about it. Any other takeaways that you would like to leave our listeners and share today?
Just share a story. My father passed away a year ago yesterday, and he used to always say and like motivate me with, "You're gonna be somebody, Michael. You're gonna be somebody." And he never said, I think I said this in my eulogy form, but he never said like what you're gonna be. He never put me in a box or what I had to be to make him proud. He was always proud of what I did, and it helped me become the entrepreneur I am. There's not many people like me in mortgage that are able to talk on the tech side, originate, but have that entrepreneurial spirit
Mhm.
that allows me to get up every day and try to be somebody, right? And so I talk about Thanksgiving's coming up in a couple weeks, and anybody that's in the mortgage industry, I think, can relate to this. When you start to talk about what you do in mortgage, something you're proud of, the family often responds, whether it's immediate or aunts and uncles, pass the mashed potatoes, right? Like you can't be as cool as anybody else at the table talking about stories because they don't get it, they don't understand it, and so there are certain things maybe they would get. Like if you got your CMB, that's like a degree. Maybe you made your first million, that's a story. I think being an author, and I want to thank you, Pat, for this opportunity. I think if my so this came yesterday on the same day as my dad's year
Oh,
anniversary. I,
wow.
I don't see it as a coincidence. That's something he would understand. That's something he would consider, gonna be somebody. And it really got me to just thinking about the line, you're gonna be somebody, and always like Matthew McConaughey's speech where he's always chasing somebody 10 years ahead. Sometimes I think you got to pause and just be happy you are somebody, even if it's for just a day. So thank you for making me somebody, making an author, something that I can mention at the Thanksgiving table. People will understand. And I hope everybody gets out, reads the book, gives it a great review. I put a lot of work into it. Pat put more work than anybody into it, whether it's the helping us write it or just hurting all of us cats on deadlines while we're working on other things. And yeah, any review you can give would mean a lot to me. And I think a lot to the other authors in the book.
Well, Michael, I have to thank you for sharing all your thoughts and really for sharing your insights today. And certainly for our listeners watching today, if you want to take a deeper dive on Michael's insights, go to mortgagemanagermastery.com and purchase the book. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thank you, Pat.